Well, good morning, everyone. It is time to rise and shine on this day after Super Bowl. I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Channing Curtis. Well, let's get right over to meteorologist Thomas Patrick. Because, Thomas, I know you were up late watching the game and all of the aftermath of the excitement. But what does the forecast have in store for us today?
Yeah, today going to be a windy day overall. And I know there's going to be some snow chances for the mountains and small chances for showers at our lower elevations. But the winds win out in terms of the forecast priority here. Southwesterly winds sustained at 18 miles per hour, already gusting up to 30 in Spokane, and those winds will be persistent all day long. But guess what? We're past sunrise already, and it actually looks mostly sunny, or at least there's a little pocket of clearing directly over Spokane. But as you look, there is a fair amount of some mountain snow showers, especially off towards our east. Lookout Pass already has snow back on the roads, but over Wallace and Kellogg, temperatures at 35 degrees, so just wetter road conditions at the lower elevations.
It is Boomtown Week here at KREM 2. We continue to take a look at growth here in the inland Northwest and how that growth is impacting us all. As our population increases more and more, so does the cost to live here.
Rent prices have actually grown so much over the last few years that many people are now being priced out of their homes. And some local experts believe that is one of the reasons why our homeless population is on the rise. So I decided to dig deeper to find out what is being done to make living in Spokane more affordable for everyone.
When you're planning out your bills every month, and then your rent bumps up and your groceries bump up and your gas prices increase, and so now it's not enough.
Rebecca Mason and her family moved to Spokane 6 years ago from Los Angeles with the intention of saving up to buy a home in a cheaper housing market.
Now, with having to pay higher amounts for rent, we don't have as much to put aside to save, and I don't know that I can see purchasing a home in my near future anymore.
Now, Rebecca says she and her wife have to pay hundreds of dollars more next month to stay in their current home.
$600 if we do not sign the year lease, and $400 if we do. We're not planning on signing that year lease, and are hoping to find other housing. That'll be a $600 increase. It was supposed to happen February 1st, and we got 3 weeks notice.
In a survey conducted in November by the Zone at the Northeast Community Center, 852 people in the city of Spokane were asked about the cost of living expenses. 59% said their rent went up in the last 6 months, and 43% said they saw an increase of up to $500.
I could have afforded a 7% increase, but I couldn't afford a 50% increase.
The numbers are similar for people living in Spokane County, like Shannon Corrick, who lives in Cheney.
We rented a house in Cheney, and we had lived there for years. Very stable housing situation. My landlord was really great. And then last year he said he was going to raise the rent. If we signed a lease, it would be a 30% increase. If we did not sign a lease, it was going to be a 50% increase. And we could not find anywhere to move that was at all affordable.
That same survey conducted by the Zone asked 133 people who live in Spokane County about their rent. 54% said they had an increase in the past 6 months of up to $1,000.
When you have a 40-hour-a-week job, when you have kids, a family, housing is a number one concern. And I've noticed just in the past couple of years, homelessness has skyrocketed. People are living in their vans and their cars because they've got nowhere else to go and nowhere they can afford, even if they're working a full-time job.
Many local leaders, including Spokane City Councilman Zach Sapone, believe one solution to the rising rent prices is building more affordable multifamily housing in and around the city.
Last year we passed the BOCA, which is the Building Opportunity and Choices for All Act, and that changed to allow more middle housing. So that's up to 4plexes citywide, often in vacant lands, or changing the zoning so you can convert buildings into up to 4plexes.
Zapone recently spoke to the state legislature in favor of passing a similar law statewide that would allow for more multifamily housing units to be built in places that have been zoned for single-family homes.
Spokane alone cannot build enough units within city boundaries. So we need adjacent cities in the county to increase their density too. We can't solve the problem alone, and that takes a regional approach.
Right now, he's working on a proposal that would turn some of the empty parking lots in downtown Spokane into multifamily housing units.
So there's a lot of land downtown that is just not being utilized, and we have this great need for housing in our community. So the legislator is allowing the city and the state to defer taxes on those properties if they build housing and build affordable housing. So there's a requirement that 50% of those units have to meet the affordability threshold.
But for now, Rebecca, Shannon, and hundreds of other local residents are being forced to make tough decisions.
So at this point in time, I'm taking that rent increase and taking time to look around. And even though that is such a huge increase, when I look at the cost of applications and those pet deposits and that cost of moving, along with paying another deposit on a place, right? And having to time that perfectly with moving out from an apartment into another place, that is not the best option for us at this time.
So Rebecca and Shannon are both advocating for more tenant protection statewide, and there are several local and regional organizations that are there to help if you or someone you know is struggling to make your rent payments, including the Tenants Union of Washington State. Their number is located at the bottom of your screen right now, and it will be available on our website later this morning.
And in our effort to bring you more to every story, one of the affordable housing solutions you just heard about will be introduced to the Spokane City Council tonight. KREM 2's Nicole Hernandez live at City Hall right now. So Nicole, how will this ordinance create more affordable housing for the region?
So Tim, this new ordinance would create a tax incentive for developers in the area to build housing in Spokane. And this tonight is the first time City Council will be hearing the details of this new ordinance. The ordinance would specifically be for development in the downtown Spokane area. It would create a sales and use tax deferral program to incentivize building on unused land downtown. Under the ordinance, at least half of that development would have to be affordable housing. A good portion of that unused land downtown is parking lots. The city says a 2019 study shows 30% of downtown is parking, and the study found even at the busiest times of day, people were only using about 56% of that available parking. Again, today is the first time City Council will be hearing the details of this potential new ordinance, and in just 2 weeks, on February 27th, will be that final reading for the ordinance. In Spokane, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
Now our Boomtown coverage will continue all this week, and tonight we're in Coeur d'Alene, where a battle is brewing over plans to turn a field into a community with thousands of new homes, apartments, and businesses. Developers say it will bring much needed housing, 900 new jobs, and millions in annual tax revenue to the city. But those living near the proposed site say their peaceful neighborhood will pay the price. During a 6-hour meeting last week, they asked city council members to reject this idea.
As we saw that night, there's a lot of passion involved here because this is going to change the community, and everyone knows that. We're seeing change across the community here in Kootenai County every single year. No one would have ever guessed this was going to happen 20 years ago. How do you maintain that quality of life while adding more quality of life in a different community next to it?
The challenge of change. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk reports on what's next for the project and some possible compromises. That story is airing tonight on the KREM 2 News at 6.
And weather-wise, temperatures have been fairly mild for this morning. Most everywhere is above the freezing mark, including here in Spokane. 35 will be about our low temperature for the day. And it's the same story out of Wallace, where some rain has started to fall in the Silver Valley. But in the adjacent mountain passes, it is snowing in those regions. So we're tracking that precipitation. Chance of rain at lower elevations, definitely snow at higher elevations. And Lookout Pass is under a winter weather advisory for today for such snowfall. So we'll show you the road conditions over North Idaho coming up in just a little bit. So stick with us.